Hi, I'm Zoe with the Calcasieu Parish Public Library. We've done a lot of painting videos recently, and they're my favorite thing to do. They're a lot of fun, I love them, but they've all been very step-by-step. So I thought today we'd go a little more playful and venture into abstract art. Now, what I really wanted to do was one of those videos where you put globs of really thick acrylic paint on the canvas and it dries sort of three-dimensional and textured. But I don't have paint that thick. Cheaper acrylics just don't have that kind of body. Regardless, I still want to play with texture today. So I remembered I have t-shirt paints, and they are thicker. They're made to sort of stand up off of the t-shirt. So I'm going to do some experiments with that. I also have glitter glue, and that might hold up. So we're going to do a little science and see what we come up with. So the black on the bottom is glitter glue. The rest of those are dimensional fabric paint. So I've got a plastic palette knife. I'm just scooping up globs of color and then sliding them off of the palette knife and onto this little piece of cardboard. I wanted a small surface so that I wouldn't waste too much paint if this went terribly wrong. In hindsight, that was really good thinking because this used a lot of paint. So I'm just going to continue to layer these colors until the entire canvas is filled. So let's skip ahead and see what that looks like. It's a bit of a mess, but I am really excited to see what it looks like when it's dry. So I'm going to carefully move this to the side and let's try a different art project while we wait. Next, I want to go simple and aesthetically pleasing while still incorporating some texture. So I've got a small, medium, and large sponge brush, as well as some silver, gold, and white paint, and I'm just going to be alternating circles in different colors and sizes all the way across this canvas. There's no larger pattern at work here. I do want the circles to fit together nicely, but mostly I just want them to travel across the canvas from one corner to the opposite. It's a little ironic because the goal is texture, but I don't really like the spotty coverage of the sponge brushes. So I am going to go back in and clean up those circles with a regular paintbrush. Here's a quick glimpse at the finished pattern, and once I've cleaned it up, it'll look like this. Finally, to add our texture, I am taking our white dimensional fabric paint, still in its tube, and I am applying it on top of our white dots. My hope is that once this dries, it won't have a very visible difference from the front, but it'll still have a really satisfying texture if you run your hand over it. It only took a few minutes to fill in all of our little white bubbles, and here's what it looks like. Now I have to let it dry. I'm gonna let it sit overnight. Okay, so it's the next morning. I let our paintings dry all night long. I haven't looked at them yet, so let's go see how they did. So first we have our more experimental piece. It did dry with some texture. You can kind of see it does have the little mountains still. They did flatten out more than I would have liked. But I wouldn't say that it's an unsuccessful experiment. Oddly enough, I thought that the glitter glue was going to do really well because it was really thick, but as it dried, it just sank and it left these little divots everywhere that I used it, which is pretty cool. And while not exactly what I was expecting, I am still interested in getting some heavy body acrylics and really trying again. This is still really fun to run your fingers across. Next, let's look at our other painting. I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I do just really like working with glitter and metallics, so I was probably going to be happy with this one no matter what. But if you remember, we only put that raised dimensional fabric paint on the white circles. So if you run your fingers over it, you can feel and they're quite flat. They're not, you know, super tall, but you can kind of see the texture there. I am really happy with how this one turned out. I like this one quite a bit. So here are both of our pieces side by side. I had a lot of fun making these, and I really hope that you had fun going on this journey with me. Maybe you made some abstract art yourself. If you did, feel free to share your pictures with us or comment below, let us know. And if you liked this video, check back every week for more from your local library.